try this again. Good morning. It is Friday, February 28th. Tomorrow is leap day. It's a leap year, which is pretty cool. Other countries don't necessarily go by the same calendar as we do, so I don't know that every country has leap year. That's an interesting thought. I know that I think it's like Ethiopia, I want to say, is like they're, because of the way their calendar is, they're like 6 years behind us or something. It's pretty crazy. So anyway, I had started a video a little bit ago and got 3 minutes in before I realized my aux cord was plugged in. I was like, well, never mind. So yeah, but what I was wanting to talk about was people, again, because I like talking about people. People fascinate me. And so I've mentioned before that I like to study people. I study their speech patterns, their body language, the way they dress, the way they carry themselves, you know, all of those things, how they approach situations, you know, wherever I go, the store, the doctor's office, work, wherever. So I've been at my job almost 3 years, and there's been a good handful of people that have worked there the whole time I have. And I'm usually able to get a pretty good feel on people, but there's been a few that I haven't been able to get a good read on. Two in particular, and one I think I've got somewhat. I still am not sure, but I can read them a lot better than I used to be able to. And the other one, I just can't quite get. There's so many mixed signals and so many unpredictable behaviors that I can't quite get a read. And I think part of that is because I've heard many stories and legends about this person, and haven't had a whole lot of interactions with him myself. I mean, I have, but not really. It's been very brief conversations, hellos, and, you know, really only talked to him when I had to, or he only talks to me when he has to. I think for a while he either hadn't made up his mind about me or he liked me. And as time has gone by, especially since I switched to this new position, I think he's decided that he doesn't like me. And the story goes that once he doesn't like you, he'll never like you. Which I don't really care either way, to be honest. It doesn't affect me in any way, shape, or form, unless, because he doesn't like me, he's going to start being difficult. You can not like me and not be difficult. I'm okay with that. But if you're going to not like me and then be difficult, make my job more difficult, or make my life more difficult, then we're going to have a problem. So, he's in a relative position of power. He's got, you know, over a decade of seniority over me, but he is younger than me by about, I think, 5 or 6 years. So he is very business oriented. He stays pretty focused on work, which is good. Unless you're a pretty girl that he likes to, you know, joke with, then, you know, all bets are off. But I am not a pretty girl that he likes to joke with, so I'm not extended that privilege. Maybe I just don't get his sense of humor, I don't know. But I have a very dry sense of humor, so not everybody gets it. But he seems like he'd have a pretty dry sense of humor too, so I don't know. But yeah, I've been studying this guy for a while now, and I can't pinpoint it. But you know, most of my interactions prior have been fairly positive. And then last week I had a semi-negative interaction where he basically told me what to do, which he's not my boss, so that was, you know, whatever. But he did it somewhat pleasantly. He could have been a lot more rude, and he chose not to be. But yeah, it came across kind of snarky, but whatever, I'm willing to let that go because everybody has bad days. He might have been far more upset and was trying really hard to not let that show, and so what did come across was still a little snarky, but you know what I mean? So, okay, cool, whatever. I just said, yep, I'm on my way, and I let it go. Cool. But, I stashed that little incident away, and let's see what happens next. Well, what happens next is I need to do some training in his area, and it wouldn't be big training, it would be pretty minor. And I sent the invitation out of respect to his area. I need his permission, but I don't need his permission to go in his area and train. But I sent him the invitation out of respect, and he declined it. And his response to my very nice email about what I was looking for was like 2 short sentences that were very, not accusatory, but like, I don't know. It wasn't very nice. He could have gone about it a much different way. But regardless, basically he asked what's the purpose of this? And so I gave him my answer of what the purpose is and what it would look like and what it would entail, and gave him a little more detail, and then I referred him to my boss and the area lead if he needed more information or basis. And I sent that email yesterday morning, first thing. He was there all day, and he didn't respond at all. 8 hours and no response. So today I'm looking to see if he chooses to respond or not, because I asked for Monday. And I did let my boss know. I forwarded her the email so that she had some context if he did come to her and ask. I wanted her to have context to the prior conversation. And, she asked if there was, anything I wanted her to do. And I said, no, not at this point. I want to see what his next move is. And my other coworkers on my team were like, getting a little, we get defensive of each other. So they were like, well, I would do this and I would do that. And do you want me to do this? And I'm like, no. Everybody just wait. I want to see what his next move is. If he chooses to ignore me and doesn't respond today, that's going to tell me a lot. That's going to tell me that he probably dislikes me for sure. B, he sees himself so far above me that I don't deserve any level of respect and response. And that he wants to play hardball. And I'm okay with that. I never get to play, so I hope he wants to play, because I want to play. And, so, one of my coworkers said something, and I was like, no, I'm collecting data. Like, let me just watch. I'm collecting data, I'm in it for the long game. Overall, everything I do is in it for the long game, and I want to see how this plays out. I want to see what his next move is, and of course, depending on his next move will depend on what my next move is. If he ignores me through today, then I will let my boss know, and then she can talk to him Monday. And if he still shuts it down, well, that's cool. Or maybe I will send another email and CC my boss and the plant manager in the email and let him know that I'm not playing. I'm not one to be pushed around. You're not going to intimidate me because everybody's scared of this guy. And he's got one of those, like, resting bitch faces, so he always looks angry. So a lot of people are intimidated by him. But I've seen how he acts with the people he does like, and he's like most men that look like they're mean and angry. He's just a big old teddy bear, so I'm not afraid of him. I'm not afraid of anybody, really. But it's interesting that the reaction I'm getting from my coworkers is, I don't know. The reaction I'm getting from them is interesting, but yeah, no, I'm not afraid of anybody. And should I need to stand up for myself, I will. But if I could go about it I guess more passive aggressively, I will, because that's my nature. But yeah, I think a simple response or another message that's got my boss and all of our bosses, actually my boss trumps his boss, but as far as I know, not when it comes to operations though, so that's not correct. But I'll just CC them on the next email, and hopefully that will send him the message that I'm not playing. He might still win. He might. He's got the seniority that his word is probably going to be taken over mine. But he has no legitimate reasoning for saying no. His area is not backed up. They're not behind. They're not swarmed with work. So he can't use that excuse because it's just not true. And I already spoke to the lead that would do the training, and he doesn't think it's going to take very long at all, and that it would be, quick and easy, which I stated. And worst comes to worst, I can throw that you don't want to waste or hold aside 2 hours of training for me, but you'll waste multiple people's time training a guy that shouldn't have even been hired in the first place. The guy has to be watched constantly. All the other people in that area have to watch him and check his stuff constantly. He does not understand what he's doing. He has no clue what he's doing. And to try to teach him anything is damn near impossible. So you want to waste all of their time for that guy that shouldn't have even made it in the door in the first place because you didn't do your due diligence, but you don't want to set aside 2 hours for me to do a little training that has added value, but that guy has zero added value. I can play that. If I have to pull that card, I will. That's just, you want to play, I'll play, and if I have to go even lower below the belt than that, I will. So yeah, sometimes we come across personalities where we have to stand up for ourselves, and it may be one of those situations where he's trying to feel out whether he can intimidate me or push me around, so to speak, and that I'm just going to take his word and leave it at that, and take his answer as, okay, never mind. But he's about to find out that that's not going to be the case. And there's also a possibility that, because we've had minor interactions, from the minor interactions and what he sees on a daily basis, maybe he thinks I'm an idiot. Maybe he thinks I'm just a ditz that doesn't really know what they're doing. Maybe he's judging me on the way I dress and the way I look. I don't know. But that's okay. I have no problems proving people wrong. I have no problems proving myself to people. Because I'm not an idiot and I'm not intimidated, and I got this position for a good reason. So, and part of that is my people skills. So, my ability to read people and play to those attributes that I need to. So, it may just be a case of he's giving a little push to see how far he can take it, and when I stand up for myself and push back, he will leave me alone and be pleasant again. So we shall see. Updates to come, hopefully. I'm almost to work, so I'm going to end the video. I hope you all have a good weekend. I don't plan on doing anything this weekend except vacuuming a bunch of times to get all the dog hair up, and hopefully cooking some recipes that I haven't had a chance to cook yet. This is like week 3 now, and I still haven't gotten to just sit and play with recipes. I made one recipe last weekend, and it was really good. But it was pretty basic. It was something I would have made before we went on the plant-based diet. So I really want to play with some plant-based vegan recipes. So I'm hoping to do that, and then, get some sleep and whatever else comes along. So I'll talk to you later. Everybody be nice to each other. Be respectful of each other. make good choices, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.